We're going to have a cool opening song.
No, I'm just going to start.
What?
All right. You know what it is? You know who it is? We're back with another episode of the Skinny Boy Says podcast.
What?
Today, I got Rebel trained head coach, owner, CEO, Dean LEBER with me. Dean's a very good friend. Little may he know, he inspired me a lot in my fitness journey, and he was kind of the first person that got my head turning and the gears turning in my head to kind of take this as a career and take it serious. I used to go to his gym, Black Sheep.
So generous.
Yeah, I used to go to his gym, Black Sheep, and that's where I kind of met him, and he helped me kind of, like I said, he kind of sparked the flame that is to what I've become as a coach and like a business owner and a former business owner and CEO. So I kind of want to just introduce yourself. You can give a little bit of background quick, and then we can kind of go from there.
Introduce myself.
Just a little bit of a background.
Been doing fitness for a bajillion years now at this point in the world of fitness. Let's see, how long has it been? 2007, I got my CPT, certified personal trainer, and then fell in love with helping people become better, essentially. So I started out at a big box gym at Valley Total Fitness. That was a lot of fun. I helped people lose weight. I helped little old ladies learn how to cook better food for themselves. And I went shopping with people. I helped people clean their bedrooms. I really believe that how clean your home is, like how clean your bedroom is, has a lot to say with how healthy you are emotionally. So I was hook, line, and sinker. I was all about it. It was a way that it was what I used to kind of help me get my way through college. So I used fitness as a job to help me get through college, and I absolutely loved it. Went to school for business, sports management. It's actually my academic degree.
You play basketball too, right?
I dabbled in basketball as a 5'9", 155-pound white guy.
Sharpshooter.
I was like a smaller, less athletic version of JJ Redick. If JJ Redick was less athletic, which I don't know if that's possible, that would have been me. Absolutely loved it, man. It was one of the best experiences of my life. So I played a year of basketball out in college out in Rochester. Came home. That's another story for another day. But after being at Valley Total Fitness, I found CrossFit, and that was like right when nobody heard or knew anything really about CrossFit. Thought CrossFit was the bee's knees because I saw a bunch of people losing so much weight, getting so healthy, so fit, so quick, and kind of just went in, just sold myself to it, man. Drove to Pittsburgh for my level 1 in 2009, I think, 2010. And that was an absurdly long drive because that was the closest level 1 there was to me at that time.
Mine was in Boston.
It was Reebok 1.
Yeah.
With Austin and all those guys.
Spencer.
Yep.
And Connor Murphy, I think.
So, and then I coached with Austin at Albany CrossFit. So he came from CrossFit DeWitt, and he was there. James Hobart kind of swung in and out, and got a chance to meet a bunch of those guys. That's when Reebok kind of first came into the whole equation. We had conversations with Reebok about all that stuff in regard to like CrossFit and how does CrossFit and Reebok come together. That was so much fun. My passion was always to open my own gym. And so I decided that I was going to move forward with that. And then before I opened my own gym, so there's kind of like a little space where I actually helped kind of do some consulting with other gyms, CrossFit Avita being one of them with Chad and Karen. So opened Black Sheep, and then after I was at Black Sheep for a little over 4 years, and that was my gym. Started that, and then I ended up selling that, and then transitioning as we discussed into remote coaching for the most part. I still work with some clients. Some of them come over to the garage, as you just saw the garage.
Yeah.
It's pretty loaded.
Sick setup.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work on.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I guess one of my first questions, what's the transition been like from gym owner to mainly online coach and some in-person coaching?
Well, so that's a great question. So I think in order to be a good remote coach, you have got to have a ton of experience and have seen a lot of stuff, and almost be like, okay, I know how many different variations of X there's going to be. So when you see a video of someone, like, you know, if you're doing remote coaching and they send you a video, you're like, okay, I kind of have a base of support of understanding how many variations of whatever it's going to be, and kind of can then use that as all right, this is what I'm seeing from this angle, because you can only see so much, and so you can kind of you're kind of, you know, trying to you're guessing essentially,
Yeah.
but it's an educated guess.
Yeah.
But so I think that, man, in order to be a good remote coach, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a good remote coach. I'm still working on it, man. I'm still trying to iron out a lot of.
It seems like, you know, I know what level of coach you are, so I'm sure that the people you're
trying
getting
I'm
get what they
really,
need.
yeah, I'm really freaking trying, like really trying to add value. So in the online experience anyway. So I think it's really, really hard. I don't think it's for everybody. And I feel extremely fortunate that I am able to do a decent amount at this point right now. So that's, I guess that's, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, cool. Yeah, that's been awesome.
Yeah.
Biggest thing, or I guess, like, how have you grown over the past couple of years from becoming, like, making that transition? So, like, what do you see yourself different that being in the gym versus becoming a full-time kind of like online coach? So where have you seen your career change, and like your, I guess, I don't want to say values, but like your, I guess your values towards training and kind of your outlook on training?
Oh, wow, dude. That's an incredible question.
You know, like for me, the biggest thing since I've made this, it's only been a week,
Yeah.
but like the thought's been in my head, and like the biggest thing has been, you know, you grow as in you're able to kind of like expand yourself a little bit. You're able to reach more people, do certain things that you normally wouldn't be able to. Obviously, there's some like a creative aspect that comes because you're not inside of your gym anymore. You don't have like, you know, that environment to be in. So like to me, it's there's a lot of change that occurs, and I'm just curious about like what you've seen, because you've been doing it what for two years now?
Yeah, just about a year and a half.
Yeah.
So the first word that came to my mind when you asked, and I was like, is like openness and flexibility.
Yeah.
And so because, you know, most of the people that I'm working with are like in their garage hammering away. They're gym owners. They're coaches that are working on their own fitness, like to the nth degree. So I would say that I'm probably working with a lot of these like lone wolf like mentalities. And so I think that that's good, because I think those people are the kinds of people that work really well in the remote coach or remote coaching, right? As a client.
Yeah.
And so for me, becoming very flexible and open to like, what is your goal, right? What do you want? What are some of your like limitations and weaknesses? What do you have around you? What's available to you? So I work with, you know, I think a lot of people from what I post, a lot of people think I work with a lot of more of the competitive clientele. And I do have a decent amount of competitive clientele, football players and softball players and volleyball players, sports specific work. And then also there's a decent amount of CrossFitters that I work with. But there's also some general population people that this one girl has a carport, not even a garage, has a barbell and a couple kettlebells, and just is like, hey, what can I do to get fitter? And here are some of my goals. And so having that kind of flexibility and being open to allowing people direction, like they have the direction that they want to head, and then it's just kind of
showing them the road.
Yeah, it's just leaning on that experience that I have to be like, okay, this is the direction you want to go. Here's probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
So
I always say people pay us to save them time, right? Because we've been through most of the fitness stuff and just getting them to the place that they want to get a little bit faster.
I can't say I've ever thought of it like that, but I think that's a great point. But I've heard of it as people pay for your experience.
Yeah.
People pay for your knowledge, right?
Yeah,
like,
so you don't make as many mistakes.
Right, exactly. You pay, you invest into an $1,000 course, a $4,000 course, or whatever else. It's because you care about, you know, it's not just about being
decorated,
looking super cool.
It's about literally using it so you can make less mistakes on people.
It's like because I care about educating myself and being better, and I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for 13 years, and I'm more hungry now.
Yeah,
which is incredible.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with a person that I was consulting with in coaching recently within the past 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, I've been doing this for 13 years, and I am more hungry now to bring people to a higher level in the sport of fitness, CrossFit. I'm more hungry now to challenge myself. Yeah. So
cool. All right. 2 kids. Peyton and Claire, right?
Peyton Claire.
Claire.
Yeah, Peyton Claire Lieber, PCL. And then Madison Grace.
Yeah. How's your fitness changed since becoming a dad?
Oh, that's. I mean, that is a great question. So, it's more flexible. I'm a person that likes schedule and routine. So, for me, my day is pretty blocked out a certain way, and I typically work out in this block of time almost every single day, somewhere around 1 o'clock to like 2:30, and then I have calls after that, and I try to wrap things up. But I just don't. I have an hour and a half, or sometimes less, and my girls will nap in the middle of the day, and it's like that's the perfect time, right? So.
I think even though, like, in general, too, it's more important to be more intentional when you work out. I think people miss that whole thing that, like, just having time to work out doesn't mean you should just waste 2 hours and do, fill that with a ton of stuff. Like, an hour 15 of intentional work is going to be. Yeah, definitely. You're 100% right. But I'll say, for me, my mind would wander, and I would, like, use it as a time to think about things, and, like, just, like, almost training for me is like self-expression. Yeah. And so it's meditative, but it's also creative. Yep. It's a creative space for me. Whereas, so to be honest, it's less creative because it's like, it's kind of, I have to go. Yeah. I got to get this done, But I focus on, for me personally, it's aerobic work and power work. And I kind of go back and forth between those two. Cool. And I try not to get too complicated with it. And sometimes the aerobic work is very, very cyclical, very basic, very like on a bike, or sometimes I'll, make it mixed, like a mixed modal CrossFit piece, and I'll just do like 10 rounds and with 40 seconds of rest in between rounds or whatever else, and try to sustain. Power work, it's like, okay, I'm 32 years old. And not that that's old by any means, but the reality is that once most people hit 30s, they stop becoming powerful. And so for me, I'm like, okay, I want to get in 2 days a week of sprinting hard, of lifting heavy, and being aggressive and being fast. So instead of having a lot of like strength, prep time, strength, conditioning, accessory work, it's really pared down to like the priority. Yeah. And I'll usually do like, the first round is almost always my warm-up, whatever it is. And then rounds 2 through whatever become the actual work. Cool. Awesome.
Simple.
Favorite thing about being a coach?
Oh, dude, man. Like it's the coaching is leadership, and leadership is mentorship. Like you have the ability to empower other people to be completely and fully autonomous. And so you win when when the people that you're working with and for, and ultimately serving them, right, as a coach, when they start getting it, when they like the light bulbs start going off, right, and you're like, oh shoot, it becomes so inspiring, it's so awesome. But ultimately, what you're doing is you're leading people to a place where they don't need you, and I think that's one of my. I mean, like that's a good coach, man. Yeah, I was gonna say and I mean it when I say it. Like when I said at the beginning, like when I was in. I think it was my senior. Well, I came to Black Sheep like my junior year, and I was like fucking confused. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I was like, I started liking fitness, and that was like a couple years after I lost a bunch of weight. So I was kind of like, I don't really know if I can be in the fitness industry because like all I've really known is like personal trainers who like half-ass everything and don't really care, and like I've never really been inside of a gym where I knew the owner who was like
in the trenches essentially.
Yeah.
Like every other gym that I've been to is just like a Best Fitness or like event, and
Sure.
you don't know the owner, and like
The big
a lot
box
of those
gym.
guys are just money hungry and they're just there to make a dollar. So like when I started coming in and working with you and like talking to you, that was kind of the thing where like I started learning that like the coaching end of things is like for you specifically, it was like different. And like I never had a coach before. And like fitness stuff, I had coaches for basketball and whatnot, but like for like a fitness coach, I never had that. So talking to you and kind of hearing you explain it, and then like hearing the level of depth that it can be taken to, and then seeing how it can be put into an actual career was like, oh wow, like I can actually do this.
Yeah.
And like I can make it a career, and like still like putting the pieces together on what that looks like, but like still, you know, like being able to see that up hand and or like up front and personal, and then working with you during the internship that I did was it was cool. And like it's one of those things where like, you know, you just learn that being a coach is so much more than just like writing a workout, and like that's been
for sure.
You know, the biggest thing. That's cool.
It's connection. I mean, and you hear people all the time. It's like, oh, you gotta care, you gotta connect with people. It's all about people. But like, dude, like if your heart doesn't hurt a little bit, like when you coach, you're not doing it right. Right?
Yeah,
your heart's.
I struggled. That was one of my biggest struggles when I first started, even working with you on the internship. And I was like, I had to stop myself sometimes because I wasn't like, I guess qualified at that point to coach, but like.
Sure.
I care about people, and I want to help if I can, and then
that's the prerequisite, man.
It is. And
then from there, once you show that you truly care about humanity, and progress, then from there, it's like, I'm like, if that person really cares and they're open, it's like that they can coach.
Yeah,
they can become a good coach.
And then like, I mean, I struggled with it. I think it's because I haven't really had a lot of experience with it, but like dissociating that gym caring to like I cared about it too much to a certain extent. I would like let it bother me if I didn't do good, or
there's
like
a dichotomy.
Someone did, and like it's been one of the things that like has helped me grow the most is being able to understand like, I want to help this person, but at the same time is like to help them, I kind of have to take care of myself too as a coach, and like and a lot of times you don't, because coaching can be fucking strenuous job.
It's
like
so grindy, man. And this is the big thing, right? Like, especially having two daughters. Mm-hmm. When I owned the gym, I was up at 4 and change, whatever. Because I ate. Yep. I woke up. I'm like, I'm gonna tell other people to do this. I'm gonna do this. I woke up. I read a little bit. I ate breakfast. I cooked my breakfast and then ate it. And then I got myself ready. Hair was done. And then I went to the gym, right? And I coached. And then, you know, fitness is hard, man, because you are
save yourself some time and shave your head.
Yeah. For sure, man. I don't know if my head would look as good as yours though, bro. But like you coach fitness, you coach when other people don't work, bro. Yep. And people see a lot of glory in being a personal trainer or coach or whatever else. And it's like, it's beautiful. It's awesome. I can't say that enough, but it is hard when you're like, you're in a relationship with someone and then, or you get married,
they get out of work at 5 and you're just starting your night.
Yeah, man. And then on top of that, you have kids, and it's like, holy smokes, man. Like you're up at 4:00. You have that morning block. The middle of the day gets a little slow and a little quiet. And then 3:00, you're back at the gym, and you're home at 7, 8 o'clock. And it's like, it will. And I had done that. I started doing that in 2010, 2011 until 2018. So for 8 years. And I was just like, man, I love this field, and I will never, I can't say never, but I don't want to do it to service. And I'm just not in a place where I can continue to serve the way that I did. And so I'm like, it is time for me to step down.
Yeah, at the gym.
Yeah. And that's time for me to step down, because my priority started, and Savannah and I had the conversation. We're like, it's time, we want to start a family. Yeah. And my calendar now, man, if I were to open my computer, and I have all these, everything blocked out and everything's color coded, but from 6 to 7 every day, full hour, I get an email notification on my cell phone. It says time with girls. Yeah. That's my daughter's.
Yeah.
And then from 7:30, because then from 7 to 7:30, it's bedtime routine, everything else. And then from 7:30 until 9, it's time with wife.
Yeah.
Time, not Foxy.
Yeah.
3 X's. Dangerous woman. But from 7:30 to 9, it's time with Savannah, right? And it's blocked out. And I get an email on my cell phone, right? And so to me, the balance that I have now in my life, because I get up before everybody wakes up in the morning now, because when the girls wake up,
it's mayhem, probably.
Dude, like it's mayhem. It's absolute mayhem. There's no way to get anything done.
Yeah.
So I have to get up before they get up, and Peyton gets a bottle at 7:30, gets breakfast around that same time. So I'm up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, programming, getting stuff done, just chomp it, like going, and then also gives Savannah an opportunity to sleep, right? Because she's on all the time,
yeah.
Mom. But so like now I look at my life, and is it perfect? No. Am I going all out? Yeah. But there is a lot more balance relative to where I want to be health-wise.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say health, I'm talking like the whole picture for me, right?
Yeah.
So, and then in reality too, man, like how are you going to lead other people if you're not where you need to
That's
be?
my biggest thing. Like you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk.
Absolutely.
That's my, like 100%. Like I won't, and that's why it bothers me sometimes with coaches who don't.
That later part for me of the gym, completely transparent, stop being healthy.
Yeah.
And so it's like, was I fit to lead them?
Yeah.
And the answer is, reality is probably not.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a rough decision.
I kind of cut you off.
No, I mean that's what I was gonna say. It's like it's a tough decision when you start to feel that, because it's not, especially in a gym, like a job, you're just whatever. Like you're a 9-to-5 job, like this isn't fulfilling anymore. They just replace you. Like the gym is like, especially being the owner, the head coach, the face, is like when you leave, it's like, you're not just letting yourself go. It's like you're leaving your people, you're leaving
absolutely.
The community you
There's
built,
guilt that's associated with that.
Exactly. And like
tons.
That's
and a lot of people may not understand that.
Yeah. And like taking that step it's hard. It's not
very
like
vulnerable.
And like, you've probably had a bunch of cries about it. I've had a bunch of cries about it. No, seriously. And like, it's one of those things where it's just kind of like you just kind of see where you are now, and it's like, yeah, you must be doing fine. And it's like, yeah, but like, it's not like I don't regret anything, or like you look back and you're like, oh, I wish this could have been better, but it wasn't, and it's leading you to where obviously the next step is, which is part of my next question is, boom, where do you see your career going in the next 5 years?
Gosh. Oh man, that is a great question. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'd love to continue growing remote coaching. I'd love that. Selfishly, like I want to continue working with, I want to work with people who want it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't matter, bro. Like that doesn't matter. And I think that you hear me when I say that, but it's like, if you are a stay-home mom, or if you're, an entrepreneur, or you're a business owner, or you're a coach, it doesn't matter where this person's at, like as long as you want it. But so selfishly, I would like to continue working with athletes, sport specific.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to grow like that portion specifically, like strength conditioning. So like last summer I went out and got my CSCS, which was awesome. I love that. And so that's, CrossFit kind of, I love CrossFit. I have a ton of respect for people that are working really, really hard to make what they're providing for people great value. But I've had some issues with it myself. And there's a reason why my gym was Black Sheep Athletics, not, blah, 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 CrossFit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do it different.
Good thing, right?
And and so I'd love to continue developing and growing like the strength conditioning portion of what I'm doing. I would love to continue growing and developing like sports specific to CrossFit, like Sport of Fitness, like those guys. I have a couple of people that I work with right now. They're incredible. I feel so fortunate to work with them. And then I have a couple other people that I just did a couple of calls, and I have 3 people that are ready, willing, and eager to get started with CrossFit specifically. Like they want to be better in that sport. So I love that. I love CrossFit. Like the sport is sick, dude. Yeah. It's such a sick sport. And then from like an exercise science point of view, to like balance all of those balls up in the air at the same time, it's really, really incredible. And so when people say, oh, I programmed an entire week for this games athlete and it took me 15 minutes. I'm like, What are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Like, you shut your mouth. You stop it. Like,
Well, and that's the thing. It's like so again, I'm not like the biggest fan of CrossFit overall, but like for me, it helped me like widen my view
Yeah.
of everything, because like you see like essentially that's like I don't know. I guess that I don't want to call it the apex of fitness, but like, you know, you're doing so many things, you have to be good at so many things that like it's so like eye-opening to all the different skills that you can have. And like
as a sport, it's incredible.
Yeah. And
it's
like,
incredible, man, as a sport.
like you see like Matt Frazier snatch 315, can clean 400, run a 6-minute mile, and it's like you're not going to find a lot of people that can do that in general.
No.
And then but being able to kind of like see that, take it back and be like, all right, like what's necessary there and what can be used with most people. And then, you know,
what
like,
people don't want to hear is general population
Yeah.
people don't need to kip anything.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's what I mean. It's like
just stop.
CrossFit has like some good stuff, but like there's a lot of that stuff that's just unnecessary.
Right. 100%.
So like, and then mixing that with like the strength conditioning world and mixing that with like bodybuilding world and kind of developing something that's like, you know, a little bit more inclusive, but like still gives people the fun of CrossFit. Because one of the best things about CrossFit is that like you learn skills.
Yeah.
Like it forces you to learn skills.
Yep.
Not that people should be learning those skills, but like it gives you the opportunity to like better yourself. And like that's one of the best parts is like you go in, you see, you know, I remember coming in the Black Sheep and seeing like Jake and Nolan do like crazy stuff on the bar, and like even Nick, my friend Nick, like they would just be able to do like disgusting amounts of unbroken muscle. I was like, oh, I want to do that. But like whether I should have been doing it or not, or like people should have been, it's just like the point. I'm like, oh, I want to get better. I want to see that.
Yeah.
And like you know, as a coach, it kind of opens your eyes to like what's necessary and what's unnecessary.
Yep.
But it's cool, you know, and like I said, it's one of the things that kind of made things a lot better for me as a coach. And you know, again, I'm not the biggest fan of it overall.
I share that because that has always been one of my biggest criticisms. It's like, you know, like a lot of populations don't need to be barbell snatching. Right? I mean, like your shoulder, that is a very shallow joint.
Yep.
And to put your arms over your head in that position like that in a dynamic fashion, it's extraordinarily demanding. There's a lot of prerequisites you really need in order to be able to do that well. Now, granted, like there's several people that can and are crushing it, right? Yeah. But there's a lot of general population people. It's like, man, you'd be better off just getting stronger.
Yeah.
Like just getting straight up stronger, and then just learning how to walk better.
Yep.
I know it sounds silly,
but
like learn how to walk better, and then let's make that a little bit faster. Learn how to jog better.
Yeah.
Because we're bipeds as humans. We're going to be walking and jog. That's our primary form of locomotion for the rest of our lives.
I was going to say that, like Jordan Shallow, I'm taking his course right now, Prescript level 1.
Yep. And
his definition of function is what our body does walking and breathing. And like I've never heard that from anybody else. And like it just makes like I don't understand why that wasn't the initial definition. Like because everything that I've heard is functional is like doing snatches and like squatting and you know what I mean? And like functional is literally like what does our body need to do and act when we're literally walking and breathing.
There's
and
components of the snatch that are functional.
Yeah.
Like aggression and speed.
Yeah.
But we don't need to train
but just from
snatch.
like a basic perspective, it's like what is functional? Is functional is like what our body does when we're standing up and walking, and then breathing. What's the word? Involuntarily doing.
Yeah.
Like our body's just doing, and they need to highest function to do that.
So check this out.
You got like 90 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
My grandmother is 92 years old, right? At this point in time, she's having a hard time walking. What I have found is that I think that the most functional movement that human beings do is a single leg support position.
Yeah.
Because that's the position, if you pause when you walk, you find yourself single leg. As people get older, they rush to 2 feet on the ground. That's the scuffle.
Yep.
We lose the ability to just be in a single leg support position.
Yep.
That's walking, bro.
Yeah. No,
right?
It is.
And it's like, if we aren't walking well, like I don't care what you're snatching.
Yeah. No, it's true. No. I didn't get to ask my last question, but I know his answer. Who's better, LeBron or Jordan?
Bro, I'm watching.
I'm
watching, dude. I'm watching the documentary right now, or that series, Last Dance, and it's
awesome.
Sick.
Yeah, you should watch the Lance Armstrong.
We should do a whole total podcast just on LeBron versus Jordan. I'm serious.
No, I'm serious.
All right, we'll do it. Follow up.
All right. This thing only goes up to 30 minutes on here, so thank you guys for tuning in. Dean, I'll put his Instagram stuff and his Facebook stuff at the bottom. I'll share it on Facebook. I'm sure he'll share it as well. If you guys have any questions for him or myself, you know where to reach out. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Dean, thank you for having me.
Bro, thanks for having me. Absolutely.
We will see you guys next time. Peace.